Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the day after discussion of the Oilers' 4-1 loss to the Calgary Flames, but I'm also going to be discussing the Oilers' 5-2 loss to the Chicago Blackhawks. Normally, my day after episodes are the day after an Oilers game, but because they played a back-to-back this Thanksgiving weekend, I decided to condense 2 episodes into one, and it's not like it would have made a huge difference whether I waited a day or did them separately because the talking points remain the same. The team is 0-3. They're struggling at scoring goals. They're struggling at keeping the puck out of their net, and there's going to be a lot to talk about in this day after podcast episode. If you enjoy these and you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button. The support on the channel goes a long way, and your support in general throughout the entire regular season has been phenomenal already. And despite the slow start, I'm still excited for what the future entails for not only this team, but also the channel, the community. I also have a Discord. If you want to join, you can join with the link in the description below. And of course, I am doing post-game content for Game Over Edmonton. Link for their YouTube channel is also in the description. You can go and subscribe and check them out as well. With that out of the way, let's jump into the day after discussion. I don't want to make this too long of an episode. I'm going to try and hit every point that I can in a decent amount of time. Oilers versus Blackhawks and Flames. Bottom of the screen has the scores from the 2 games. Normally, I like to put up some advanced statistics from the game that the Oilers have played in a day after episode. Day after episode. However, because they played 2 games, we're just going to talk about the scores and the storylines from both games. Our topics today on the right side of the screen: identity crisis, the bottom 6, the top 6, defense, goaltending, special teams, hit the panic button, and my closing thoughts. Of course, just like with every other day after episode that I do, every single topic will be timestamped. So if there's anything that you want to hear from me and you don't want to watch the video in chronological order, you are able to do so by clicking the timestamp that you want, and then you can come back and go forward or however you want to watch the video. So let's jump into it. Our first topic of the video: identity crisis. This is like the major storyline for me right now as an Oilers fan. This team doesn't seem to have an identity. Last year, their identity was speed, skill, offense. And then when the playoffs hit, they played a very disciplined, structured game, and they were a special teams. Their big identity was how good their special teams were, power play and penalty kill combined. So far this season, nothing is clicking. Absolutely nothing is clicking. There are 0 cylinders firing for this team. And the team overall, I don't know what their identity is. They don't have one. They're not a physical team. They don't, try and punish you along the boards. They don't punish you in the neutral zone. They're not a defensively structured team right now. Yes, they have moments where they're controlling play, but for a lot of their losses and a lot of game time, players are just kind of able to skate into the Oilers zone. They're not preventing zone entries, and they're also not making life difficult for opponents when they enter the Oilers zone. If you watch the Oilers forwards, McDavid and Draisaitl, whenever they get into the offensive zone, defenders are hard on them. They are hard. They are punishing. They throw big hits. They whack at your hands. They slash your ankles. And whether they should be calling penalties doesn't matter because this is the regular season. This is a big grind. There are going to be games where the Oilers get a ton of power plays. There are going to be games where they get very little power plays. That's not the point that I'm making, with how players are playing against Edmonton right now. The point I'm making is the teams that Edmonton has played, and you can look at them on paper and be like, oh, well, these should be wins. There is no easy win in the NHL. Anyone can beat anyone at any given time if you're not giving it your all. And other teams play Edmonton like their lives are on the line, and the Oilers seem to just coast every now and then. They have moments where they're just coasting. You could make an argument after the first 2 games against Chicago and Winnipeg that the Oilers were maybe unlucky. Maybe their finishing wasn't there. They needed a few extra saves. The penalty kill gave up 5 goals on 5 shots. There is a bit of luck that plays into that, especially if you're into the advanced analytics and things are going to rebound. Things are going to come back to normal. However, the more concerning part of this episode that I want to discuss was their effort against the Calgary Flames, because though they did control a large portion of it, it's like the coach's challenges completely deflated the entire team, and they were getting pushed around, and there was 0 response. So their identity right now is non-existent. They are not a fast team. They are not a skilled team. They are not a defensively structured team. They are not a goaltending team. Their special teams have not found a way to click yet. I don't know what this team is, and if you don't have a clear identity for how you want to play, your style of play, your system, that's a huge problem. And the longer the season goes on, where they're trying to figure out their identity, the longer it's going to take to find themselves in the win column and get themselves back into the playoffs. And, I'm talking about playoffs because yes, the season's still very young. They have 79 games to go, and they could rattle off 6 or 7 wins in a row right now, and we're all laughing by this time 2 weeks from now. That is a huge possibility. But because their identity is completely non-existent, my concern is how long will it be inconsistent? And can the coaching staff find a way to get these players to start gelling, get these players to find a way to start playing well together? Because right now, and I'm going to transition into the next topic, right now the bottom 6 are the Edmonton Oilers' best players. I'm on Natural Stat Trick, and at 5-on-5, the 3 players that are leading Edmonton in expected goals for percentage are Derek Ryan, Vasily Podkolzin, and Corey Perry. And they are rocking an incredible expected goals for percentage, by the way. Derek Ryan, 80.21%. Vasily Podkolzin, 72.48%. Corey Perry, 69.56%. And Corey Perry, he was rewarded with a goal. He should have had a second goal last night against the Flames. So likely he would have been leading the team in goal scoring if that goal would have counted. And if Corey Perry is the one that's putting the puck in the net more than anyone else, there's something's gone wrong on this roster. And that's not to discredit Corey Perry's achievements here and his good early season play. That's a great thing. If you're an Oilers fan, this is very positive. The Oilers have needed a bottom 6 to really drive play for a long time. And if they have this right now, if these players are able to sustain this, and it just means when the top 6 gets going, if they get going, they will get going, then they're going to be in a good spot. And I'm not going to be concerned about the long-term impacts of the early season play right now. But the big thing right now is the fact that the bottom 6 is carrying play. The Oilers are getting their better opportunities when the bottom 6 is on the ice. And not only the better opportunities, but their bottom 6 they are preventing high danger looks. And yes, Vasily Podkolzin, he's been on the ice for 2 goals against at evens and 0-4. That's not his fault. It's not his fault that Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner are struggling at keeping the puck out of their net right now. They are their shot suppression has been incredible. In 3 games, Podkolzin has only been on the ice for 14 shot attempts when he's it's tough to put blame on a player whenever he's out there. The Oilers are really pushing play in the offensive zone, and then they get a shot against them, and it ends up in the back of the net. The bottom 6 has been very good. Ty Emberson, who's a healthy scratch against the Calgary Flames, is 5th on the team in expected goals for at 66.49%. Again, these are very small sample sizes. It's best not to, put too much stock into this stuff. But we're seeing an early trend here. A new player in Ty Emberson. I thought he struggled a little bit against Winnipeg, but against Chicago, I thought Emberson played very well. I thought he was one of the best defensemen for Edmonton. He then was a healthy scratch against the Calgary Flames, and they put Troy Stetcher into the lineup. I did not agree with that, and I think Ty Emberson moving forward should be consistently in the lineup and probably consistently in that top 4. But, we're not going to talk about the defense yet. That is another topic. Looking at other solid performers for Edmonton right now in terms of their bottom 6 play, Connor Brown has a 64% expected goals for percentage. Adam Henrique is up there. Matthias Janmark is up there not really, actually. Janmark's 50.90%. However, the Oilers' worst performing players right now in terms of expected goals for percentage and also actual goals, because the top line, Connor McDavid, I'm going to transition to the top 6 now. Bottom 6, very good. Top 6, very, very bad. The Oilers' worst players, and this is by a long shot for expected goals for at even so far this season. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 37.29 expected goals for percentage. Yes, it's early. Yes, you don't want to overreact. But Nugent-Hopkins, he's been on the ice for 0 goals for at 5-on-5. Zach Hyman has been on the ice for 1 goal for 4 goals against. Connor McDavid, 1 goal for 5 goals against. Connor McDavid leads the way at goals against on the ice at 5-on-5 right now. You need your best players to be the best players. Otherwise, you are not going to win hockey games. The defensive lackadaisical, lazy play from the Oilers' top 6 is incredibly concerning. Nobody in that top 6 seems willing to take a body, seems willing to do what it, block a shot, just do anything to prevent a shot from getting towards your goal. Connor McDavid last night against Rasmus Andersson and Zach Hyman. I'll put him in there too. Andersson for the Flames was able to just kind of waltz into the Oilers zone. He skated around. Zach Hyman went to throw a hit. He missed. That's okay. There's still a clear shooting lane. Maybe a defenseman gets in the way. Oh, Connor McDavid, he's on him now. Oh, Connor McDavid, he waves his stick at him. Connor McDavid lazily just like waved a stick at Andersson. Andersson gets a clear shot on Skinner. It goes in the back of the net. I don't understand this lazy defensive play from the Oilers top six. I don't know if there is a Stanley Cup final hangover. I don't know if the team is still not over that Game 7 loss. Especially, you know, we've seen the Amazon clips coming out from the Amazon series that they did. We've seen the clips of McDavid. We've seen the clips of their top guns and how emotional they were after that loss. I understand. I sympathize and I empathize with it. But at the same time, this is a new season. They've got to find a way to push forward here. Does it suck that they have to go through an entire 82-game grind to get back to the playoffs? Yes. And then you have to go through that playoff grind just for a chance to maybe make the finals again. That's tough. And mentally, that can probably wear on players. It has only been 3 months since the Cup finals. I get it. But this is a brand new season. You started the season at home. You get a 4-game homestand to really assert yourselves. You get last change. You get an opportunity in front of your home fans to give them something to cheer about. You give them an opportunity to give yourself that chance to show what this team is made of this season. Because last season, it doesn't matter anymore. It does not matter. What matters right now is what's happening right now. And they've got to find a way, and as Connor McDavid would say, they have to dig the F in. They have to dig in right now. None of them are digging in. Absolutely none of them. I will say, in terms of top six play, players that I have enjoyed, I think Victor Arvidsson has looked very good. I think he is a little Energizer bunny that just never stops. And I have liked Jeff Skinner's play as well. A little bit of awkward time with Draisaitl to start the season, but as he plays more, he's starting to look more comfortable. But it is the Oilers' big four here: Zach Hyman, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid. Especially Nugent-Hopkins, too. Nugent-Hopkins is playing some very strange hockey. This is something that we're not used to seeing. He's usually very defensively responsible, and he can chip in on offense. Right now, Nugent-Hopkins is a complete black hole on this roster when he's on the ice. His on-ice impacts are horrific. But for Connor McDavid especially, team captain, they've got to find a way to lead by example here. And if they can't figure it out soon, they are going to fall behind. They're not going to make the playoffs. And then the talking points are going to be even worse because McDavid, his contract is up at the end of this season. Is it this season? No, it's next season. He still has a year left. Either way, will he re-up? That'll be the biggest talking point ever, and it is going to be super annoying to deal with the media, and I really don't want to have to be part of that on YouTube as well. I want this team to have success. I want Connor McDavid to have success. I want him and Draisaitl to win a Stanley Cup together in Edmonton. I want Nugent-Hopkins, the longest-serving Oiler on Edmonton's roster, to win a Stanley Cup in this city, and they need to figure it out. This top six right now, not even close to good enough. Now, the next topic we're going to move on to is the defense. Has the defense been good enough? Well, I think some defensemen have been better than others. Now, Evan Bouchard leads the way for defensemen at expected goals for with 67.29%, which is phenomenal. That's great. However, the eye test, there's always the numbers test, the eye test. What are our eyes telling us? What do the numbers tell us? Evan Bouchard has played well. I don't think he's played as good as the expected goals for is showing. I don't think he's played as bad as, a lot of the haters say, where he can't play defense. He can't even make a pass. He's too slow. He doesn't have any aggression. I don't agree with that either. Right now, Evan Bouchard, the facts are when he's on the ice, the play is being driven offensively. And he's not on the ice for a whole lot of negative impacts. However, there are numerous moments during a game where the decision making just isn't quite as fast as it needs to be, whether it's waiting for a shot at the point. Does anyone even know how many Bouch bombs he's taken? I actually don't think I've seen a single Bouch bomb so far this season. Nothing that's even got close to the net, at least. He is trying to throw wristers towards the net. He's trying to throw wristers for deflections, rebounds. There's a couple moments on the power play. I think it was against Chicago where he's just waiting too long. there's ample opportunity to get a shot or a pass, and he's just holding on. He's holding on. He's holding on. He's waiting. He's looking. He's waiting. Oh, now there's 4 players in a shooting lane. He can't shoot it. There's sticks in the lane. He can't pass it. Puck goes off a body out of the zone, and then you have to reset, and it just kills time. Evan Bouchard's got to be a little bit quicker with his decision-making. Overall, I think his play has been good. I don't think it's been great. Ty Emberson, I touched on a little bit earlier in this video. I've liked Ty Emberson's play for the most part. I thought he played really, really well against Chicago. I was incredibly disappointed that he was the healthy scratch against the Calgary Flames. Now, maybe he's nursing something. Maybe it was just a maintenance day for him. I don't know. But if Ty Emberson is going to be in the doghouse this early in the season, I am going to be incredibly concerned because Ty Emberson is better than Stetcher, better than Dermott. Is that a hot take? Maybe. But I truly do think that his on-ice impacts are more positive. Ty Emberson is someone that also, he doesn't panic, really. You know, you watch him play, he'll wait to make a pass if he has to. He won't just throw the puck away. He won't just rim it around the boards. He looks to make a play. He doesn't just put it off the glass, and I like that. And if he doesn't have a play, he'll reverse, he'll cut back, he'll keep possession. He won't just try and throw the puck into no man's land. So moving forward, Ty Emberson has to play more. Brett Kulak, I think, has played okay as well. I thought Emberson and Kulak together were really good against Chicago. Emberson looked a little shaky with Darnell Nurse, but maybe that's a Darnell Nurse thing because Darnell Nurse, doesn't matter who's played with him so far this season, their impacts have been horrific. Darnell Nurse right now is dead last on the entire team, not just defensemen, but the entire team in expected goals for percentage at a very awful 36.53%. Again, this is an early sample size. But Troy Stetcher, he's down there as well. Again, a 1-game sample size, it's tough to put too much stock into it. Darnell Nurse right now has been on the ice for 1 goal for, 3 goals against, and he has looked really, really bad. I thought the game against Winnipeg, him and Emberson, I actually liked Emberson. I liked Nurse's play, sorry. I did like Darnell Nurse. I didn't know about Emberson. Emberson looked like he was just a little nervous. But the game against Chicago, holy smokes, Darnell Nurse did not look good. And then last night against Calgary, Darnell Nurse looked very, very bad. Like, even worse than his worst play in the playoffs. He's already had a puck go off of him on the penalty kill. I chalk that up more to luck than anything. Yeah, sometimes a puck is going to go off the body and in the back of the net. But the game last night against Calgary, Darnell Nurse, he's not taking the body. He's not taking people out in front of the net. He's too passive in front of his crease. Like, where is this defenseman that they drafted that would cross-check you 30 times if you were anywhere near the crease near a goaltender? Where is this defenseman that when he was drafted, if you hit their best player, he would drop the gloves and punch your face in? Where is this player that the Oilers drafted that if a puck was going around behind the net, Darnell Nurse would punish you along the boards? You know how many comparisons I saw among oil country and different pundits when Darnell Nurse was still early in his young days with the Oilers, the comparisons to Chris Pronger, obviously not the skill factor, but just his size, a combination of size, speed, and he did have an offensive touch and that physicality and that meanness. He was mean. Darnell Nurse was mean in front of the net. He was mean in the corners. He would slash you. He would whack you. He would hit you hard. He would cross-check you if you're in front of the net. We haven't seen that in a long time for Darnell Nurse. I don't know if it's the contract situation. I don't know if it's the fan backlash towards that. And anytime Darnell Nurse seems to struggle, the vocal crowd is all over him. I don't know what it is. But Darnell Nurse right now, this is not even close to good enough. I don't know what has happened to his game. He is a shell of the player that the Oilers had before he signed that $9.25 million a year contract. And if he continues to completely fall apart here, he's going to be run out of town even harder than previous Oilers like Cody Ceci, Jordan Eberle's, the Jesse Puljujärvis, the Ethan Bears. This is a disaster right now. And Darnell Nurse, there's a lot of time to pick that game up. But again, this is part of your leadership group. And I go back to the top 6. I talk about the Oilers' best players. He's part of that. He's an assistant captain. He is part of this leadership group. Figure it out. Figure it out, Nurse. Next thing I'm going to touch on is the goaltending. The goaltending has not been good. Calvin Pickard did not have a good game against Chicago. Stuart Skinner had an abysmal game against the Winnipeg Jets. And then last night, Skinner, though he was better, he did make more saves, closer to a 900 save percentage, but he's not quite at that 900 save percentage in a game yet this season. for the most part, he was giving the Oilers a chance to win. The Oilers were controlling play. But in the third period, when it mattered most, Calgary outscored the Oilers 3-0. Two of them were goals on a goaltender. One of them was an empty netter. Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. The team needs saves. The team needs saves, and they need a reason to feel good about their game because you can see the deflation happen. When Calgary went up 2-1 in the second period yesterday, you could feel it. You could absolutely... Or sorry, it was 1-1. When Calgary tied the game, it was 1-1. It was Anderson's goal to make it 1-1 in the second. You could feel the entire building. You could feel the wind out of everyone's sails. And if you're going to collapse like that because of one goal against, where is this team that would get down in a playoff game and find a way to have a big comeback, down 2-0 against Dallas in game 4, and then they managed to score 4 or 5 unanswered and absolutely blow them out of the building? Like, where is that? Where is this Oilers team that was so resilient last year? I mean, again, this comes back to the identity crisis that the team has. There's a lot going on right now in oil country. I'm trying not to hit that panic button yet. The special teams, I guess, I'll play into the goaltending as well. Special teams hasn't been anywhere near good enough. The power play looks abysmal. The penalty kill has not been good, though. The penalty kill, I will give them credit. They played much better last night against the Flames. They actually managed to make a save on a shot heading into the game against Calgary. There was a really funny stat. There had been 5 shots on goal against Edmonton goaltenders on the penalty kill heading into that game against Calgary, and all 5 had gone in the net. The Oilers hadn't technically made a save. No goaltender had made a save on the penalty kill until last night. So, you know what? Guess what? That's a positive. We're going to take that here in oil country. We're going to take that positiveness, take something positive out of the game, because right now there's not a whole lot of positives. And, you know, when we talk about the goaltending, special teams in general, yes, will things come back to normal? Absolutely. The penalty kill is not going to continue to be 30 or 40% on the season. That will jump back up. It's not going to be as historic as it was last year in the playoffs. It's not going to be a 94% style penalty kill. The power play will also start to improve. However, the Oilers need to earn power plays. Saw a lot of Oilers fans complaining about the lack of calls against the Flames last night. But I will say the amount of stuff that the Oilers also got away with, for the most part, the refs were absolutely letting the players decide the game. Much to the dismay of many fans. I try and be really neutral when it comes to officiating. I try not to complain too much. My biggest gripe with the officiating last night was just the goalie interference, no goal on Corey Perry's goal. When a goaltender has that much time to reset himself and, you know, get ready for a shot, and, you know, they're gonna call goalie interference because Corey Perry had a significant presence in the crease area. I mean, you might as well go back to 90s hockey where you're not allowed to have a skate in the blue paint. And then you're going to have a situation like a Brett Hull Cup Finals. Brett Hull's skate in the crease for the Dallas Stars. Dallas wins and they win the cup. And there's a lot of Buffalo Sabres fans who are still very upset about that. If you're a Sabres fan watching right now, I didn't mean to just like catch you with a stray bullet there, but that's what the league is heading towards. And if that's what they want, they should hard define that rule, because right now that to me wasn't goalie interference. And we've seen tons of goal interference calls where there is a lot of contact being made and the goal still counts. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. I'd like to imagine that what we saw last night with Corey Perry's goal being called off, I guarantee in 3 or 4 months from now, there's going to be a similar play and that's going to be called a good goal and we're all going to be freaking out about it again. So need more consistency there. My last topic before I get into the closing thoughts is the panic button. Right now in front of me, there is a big, huge glowing red panic button, and right beside it there is a smaller mildly concerned button, and it's not glowing as much. There's a little LED light in there. And the button that I'm pushing right now, do we push that panic button and freak out and go crazy? No. This video in general probably feels a lot more intense and a lot more negative than my other videos, but there was so much going on and it's still early in the season. I was trying to hit points that I thought were super important to talk about, and the major ones being the identity crisis and the top 6 not being good enough. But in terms of hitting the panic button, no, I am pushing right now. I'm pushing that mildly concerned button. I like to look at the regular season through 8-game sample sizes. And the Oilers have played 3 games. So they still have 5 games left in this first sample here. And then after those first 8 games, I will have a better idea of the trajectory of this team. Oilers fans around oil country, we're all going to have a better idea of where the team is, where they're heading, their major deficiencies in the lineup, where they need to improve. Right now, it's still too early to figure that out, other than the fact that, the obvious. They need to score more goals. They need to give up less goals. 3-game sample size. If the Oilers were to rattle off, let's say, 5 wins in a row, and they're 5-3 after their first 8 games, a lot of us sitting here going, you know what, that's great. It doesn't matter how you get to that 5-3 record. They could have won the first 2 games, lost the next 4, or lost the next 3, and then win the next 3 after that. Like, there are so many different ways that you could look at an 8-game sample size. It doesn't matter how you get to that 5-win mark in the 8 games. But if they do it, I'll be happy. And hopefully the Oilers do rattle off 5 straight wins here. And let's try and get to 5-3. And you know what? Let's even break it down further. Let's go 4-4. Let's see if the Oilers can win 4 of the next 5. And that'll give them a 4-4 record after 8 games. And then we'll take a much closer look at the advanced analytics, where their offense ranks, their defense, their goaltending, all the good stuff, special teams. We'll have a better idea when they do that. But that is pretty much it from me. Closing thoughts here. Not a whole lot to close out on. I covered all the points I wanted to, other than, if you enjoyed today's day after discussion, if you like these podcast episodes, I will be providing them all season long. Again, if there are back-to-backs, I will condense 2 games into 1 day after episode. But again, if you like my content, pretty much daily content on this channel here on Austin Hockey, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed yet. The day after episodes are very fun. I started doing a lot of this during the playoffs. The support was incredible, and the support just in general has been amazing. So thank you so much. And a friendly reminder, I do have a Discord if you want to join it. Link is in the description. Game Over Edmonton's YouTube channel, that is also in the description. You can join and help build a wonderful community for the Game Over Network. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I know these videos get a little bit long, although I did keep this under 30 minutes today. So you know what? I'm proud. That was my goal. Keep my talking points and go under 30 minutes for this one. If you are celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving today, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving Monday. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. I'll have a pregame report up for the Oilers and Flyers. And then tomorrow night at 8 p.m., I will be doing a live stream commentary. And I'm not sure when the next live stream commentary is going to be after that game against Philly. My work schedule may not permit it for a while, but I am very much looking forward to hanging out during another live stream with all of you. The live stream on Saturday against Chicago and then last Wednesday against Winnipeg was so much fun. The support, the memes, everyone in the live chat, it's a blast. It's an absolute blast. I'm so lucky that I have all of you in my community right now, so thank you very much. We'll see you soon, Oil Country. Tell someone that you love them, and always fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go, Oilers.